Hey y'all, it's Donna, and today I want to talk about breast milk and how it debunks veganism, basically. And so, yeah, that's about it. Okay, the end. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, I want to first say, please try to have an open mind. Come here, leave all your biases, leave the conditioning we've all received about nutrition, all the studies, the research. Try, if you want to listen to this video today, try to leave all of that at the door and just bring your common sense, basic common sense, and let's start from there, because what I want to do is have a different take on this and a different route of understanding nutrition. And so leave the food pyramid behind, leave all of that behind, and let's start over. Okay, here we go. So, say breast milk is the perfect, I think the universal perfect food source. I think anyone would agree about this. Everyone would agree about this, regardless of their diet. It is, absolutely perfectly designed to support human life, quite literally. So, it has everything we need as humans to survive. It has all the macronutrients, the micronutrients, minerals. It has all kind of living cells, growth factors, hormones. These are things, much of this, even where we're at with modern science, we're just now scratching the surface on understanding a lot of these growth factors and hormones, and what the mechanisms are, what the purposes, with how they all work synergistically with each other, and all of this, how it all works. And we're just starting to understand this. We don't know a whole lot actually about the human immune system even. So a lot of people think we are just so advanced because we have developed so many amazing things, and we have, and we're pretty far advanced, but we aren't. We're just scratching the surface on the human body. It's a very extraordinary thing. So breast milk is a product of this, and it is, like I said, it's perfect. I can't find another word to describe it. And being as we are just beginning to understand all of these functions, that the ingredients that's in breast milk, I don't think we then could make definite assumptions about what diet should be if we don't fully understand the human body, if that makes any sense. So a baby, as their brain is developing rapidly, so rapidly in fact that the skull can't even fuse together properly. It has to bend and sculpt, to accommodate the grown brain. The immune system is growing rapidly, and it takes a few years to develop fully. As a matter of fact, the first year of life, the baby's body isn't even making its own antibodies. Breast milk provides all of this. It meets every single need this body has. So, and then there's the nervous system and just all these other systems and functions in the body that have individual ingredients specially designed for these systems. Okay, so this body is developing, and when the baby is eventually weaned from breast milk, this body is still growing. In the Western world, we're seeing earlier and earlier weaning, and then some babies even get formula. So that's not ideal, obviously, but regardless of when they're weaned, they're still growing as a child after this, right? So through the first, the childhood years, their body and their brains are still developing rapidly and growing, just not as rapidly as in that first year of life. So beyond this, we need to go to an optimal diet that will keep, accommodating all the needs of the body. And so if we use breast milk as a barometer, if we forget about the food pyramid and everything else we know, and we could use breast milk as a barometer of what we need in our diet. And so we would see that we need all our macronutrients, our protein, carbs, our fat, and all our micronutrients. We need our minerals, and then we obviously need, certain bacteria, things like that. Maybe not, one could argue we don't need all of the living cells and the growth factors and the hormones and things like that are in breast milk. And I guess we couldn't, because we couldn't really find that anywhere else. But we need definitely the minerals and the vitamins and the macronutrients, and we need them in correct proportions. So like I said, if we use breast milk as a barometer, we could then look to foods that are similar in nature, and we would see that without a doubt, proteins like casein and whey are not problematic at all. They're actually necessary. Sugars like lactose, which is in breast milk, of course, is perfectly fine. And saturated fat and cholesterol is absolutely necessary. So we would also have to acknowledge the synergistic value of having a food where all of these things are together in one place, which is pretty rare in nature. The synergistic value and the bioavailability, because without that, you can't be certain what is being absorbed. You can have charts and charts, and you can use chronometer, and you can have all this paper value, but unless these vitamins, these nutrients are completely bioavailable and ready just to be absorbed in the body, you cannot know what is being absorbed. So then the next best thing would be, of course, another animal's milk, meat of another animal, organs, fats, because these are the foods that will have all of everything in one place, synergistically, bioavailable. You see what I'm saying? So you wouldn't have to be looking at this plant and that plant and this plant and that plant and just adding all of these together to get an array of nutrients. You would have everything in one place with another milk, such as cow's milk, for instance. So when we compare human and cow milk, they're pretty similar, actually. They have the same ingredients for the most part at just different ratios. So then it doesn't logically make sense for vegans to say casein is unhealthy when it's healthy in breast milk. It doesn't make sense for them to, say uric acid is, a problem when that's in breast milk. It doesn't make sense for them to say saturated fat or cholesterol is unhealthy, or lactose, the type of sugar that's in breast milk is unhealthy. Or just a problem for people because they don't understand how these things work and how you need the enzymes to break down this certain sugar. And so when you really start looking at the ingredients laid out, you realize that these ingredients it's just a mammal's milk, we are just another mammal. All of these ingredients we can find in other animals, and they happen to be very bioavailable that way. And so when we look to plants, we get more of like the passerby nutrients is how I think of them. The vitamins, the water-soluble stuff. So plants are really cleansing, and they give us some nutrition and some sustainability, but they don't nourish in the same way. They don't have all the fat-soluble vitamins. They don't have the nourishment. They don't have the synergistic and bioavailable composition. But the human body is an amazing, amazing machine. And you would be surprised how long it can survive off of less than optimal foods. And I think that's what's really tripping people up in today's age. They see people that seem to be doing well, seem to be thriving, quote unquote, and they're confused. I mean, we've been fed so much information, misinformation, so much nutritional conflicting advice and conflicting research. I mean, there's just so much information out there that conflicts each other, and people are just confused. They are really confused about what the truth is. And I think that's why we should look to breast milk for the truth, the answers. Where can we get these bacteria that, only seem to grow in fermented milks and dairy products? And where can we get, it's always going to be animal sources, and I'm sorry it has to be that way. I don't know why this is the way it is, but we just happen to need this. We happen to be omnivores that need a very large portion of our calories to come from animal sources. And so, plants offer a lot of great stuff. I'm not saying they're useless. Also, I should add that diet does dictate the quality of your breast milk. So, for instance, Western women, specifically vegan women, have very low levels of DHA in their breast milk. I just think we're misunderstanding this. We're misunderstanding fiber and so many other things. So, when we look at cow milk, we can see that, like I said, the ingredients are pretty similar. And so then it doesn't make sense to, say this ingredient is good and then it's bad when it becomes a cow's milk or meat or, cheese or a burger. So yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about, and just a really quick sort of logic to look at this all through a lens of just common sense.